This new United Nations vote will definitely not be making it easy for a newly sworn-in government. And with me to analyze is founder and director of Palestinian Media Watch, Itamar Marcus. Hi, Itamar.
Hello, how are you all today?
We're okay, thank you. So the new government was just sworn in. A vote like this is certainly not the first thing they all like to deal with. What were the first reactions?
Well, I think the Israeli government is actually somewhat pleased, honestly pleased by this vote. In the past, if we go back a number of years, the votes against Israel, sometimes Israel would have a handful of supporters. This time, not only is it stronger for Israel or less bad for Israel than it was in the previous vote, but less than 50% voted in favor of this. So what's happening in recent years is that even though it looks bad that we lost the vote, we are gaining support. We're gaining support in Africa. Most of the European Union countries voted against this or abstained, so that bad on paper, but in fact, if you're looking at trends, it's good for Israel.
Very interesting. And the PA is working to send Israel to The Hague and calling for a boycott of the new government. The hostility of the Palestinian Authority has reached new levels, has it not?
The Palestinian Authority, it's not a new level. The hostility is whatever they can get away with. If they can get away with terror, they will commit terror. When they can't get away with terror, so they go to the international community. And that's what happened here with this vote, and the vote to bring us to the International Court of Justice. That's what the Palestinian Authority wants to do. They want to have Israel isolated. They've been trying to do this for years. They've sent many complaints, previous complaints, to the Hague as well. So this is part of their regular strategy. I would call it a strategy of attrition. Keep chipping away at Israel, try to make us feel weak, try to make us feel isolated, try to make us feel pressured. And over the years, it sometimes works, sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes Israel gives concessions, sometimes not. I think this government is going to be strong.
And the outgoing government had a certain level of cooperation with the PA. How do you see relations with the new administration now?
The Palestinian Authority condemned the other government as well. When you say they had a certain amount of cooperation, the security cooperation that everyone's been talking about and the PA likes to talk about for so many years is not done for Israel's sake. The Palestinian Authority does security cooperation with Israel because if they wouldn't be doing it, Hamas would have taken over in Judea and Samaria, the West Bank, already, the same way they took over in Gaza. Hamas has a tremendous amount of support in the West Bank. In the polls, Hamas would have won had they actually had an election in the West Bank last year, as had been scheduled. Abbas knows this. Hamas is interested and anxious to take over and rule the entire Palestinian Authority. The security cooperation, it's a myth that the Palestinian Authority is doing this for Israel. They're doing it for themselves. They notify Israel about Hamas terrorists. Israel arrests the Hamas terrorists, and everyone is happy.
Itamar, even when there are sharp differences between Israel and the PA, there's still security cooperation on some levels. Is that in danger in any way right now?
No, as I say, it's not in danger because the Palestinian Authority needs it. If I could have a dollar or even a shekel for every time the Palestinian Authority has announced that it's canceling the security cooperation, I'd be a very rich person today. It's a constant message. We've been hearing it for years. Abbas has said that he's going to give away the keys and let Israel run the Palestinian Authority. He has threats every day. He has another threat to Israel. In fact, he wants to continue ruling. In fact, he wants to survive. He wants his government to survive. So the status quo is very, very good for Mahmoud Abbas.
And how is actually the Palestinian media covering all this? I mean, what are the voices there?
The Palestinian Authority is trying to turn this into a major, major victory internally. Now, I say internally because, as I mentioned, in all the recent polls, Hamas is ahead of Fatah, Mahmoud Abbas's party. Mahmoud Abbas is way behind the Hamas leaders. when it comes to the polls for presidential elections. So, but the PA is trying to exaggerate the importance of this to its own people. Oh, this is a tremendous success. Look what we've done. We're isolating Israel. We're going to bring them to The Hague. It's all talk of the PA trying to convince their people that they have a leadership that's accomplishing things for them. But in fact, like I say, it's really it's not going to make any difference in the long run.
Itamar Marcus, thank you so much for joining us.
You're very welcome.